I know that. I spoke with him
I didn't do an actual review for room, but I looked at it. But I have a couple of comments I think will help.
just bring him.
Yeah. I already told him about it.
Dave, it makes sense though, the whole.
Yeah, it's fine. I call them their enhancements.
Seabright's a friendly town.
I've known Charlie for 40 years.
Yeah, that's about.
You know how long I've
And I'm a big Charlie along now.
Yes. But you're older than me.
Probably is.
I'm 70.
Today I feel it. I had my boat survey today. I'm exhausted. He goes, amazing day. He goes, you know what they stand for now? I said, yes. Mr. Junko, welcome.
Mr. Chairman, how are
Always a
you?
pleasure.
Well, I hope so.
Well, we'll see. You might not like me so much at the end, but you might. Yep. We're good to go.
The 17 is turned to 29.
I didn't see the letter, the revised letter.
No.
Let it rip. Please stand for a salute to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everybody. This meeting is now called to order. Borough of Seabright, in compliance with the Open Public Meeting Act, has provided date, adequate notice, and time, date, location, and this meeting to the Asbury Park Press. Filed notice with the Borough Clerk, posted notice on the Borough offices. It's open to the public. Welcome.
Attendance roll call. Ms. Bills? Mr. Cashmore?
Here.
Chairman Cunningham?
Here.
Mr. Giulio? Here. Vice Chairman DeSalle?
Yeah.
Young Kelly? Mr. Lawrence?
Here.
Councilman Lexstein?
Here.
Mr. Zelina?
Here.
Mr. Schwartz is absent, and Ms. Leckport is absent.
Absent tonight?
Yes, she let me know she could.
To
We'll go to the minutes.
go on.
We're looking for what's in.
I was. On to the minutes from March 12th.
I'll move it.
Second. Roll call.
Okay. Mr. Cashmore?
Yes.
Mr. Giulio? Yes. Mr. DeSalle?
Yes.
Mr. Lawrence?
Yes.
Councilman Lexstein? Mr. Zelina?
Yes. Okay, on to application 2024. This is carried from the last meeting. Mr. Rooney's, and Anthony Condors for Charlie. For the record, I did watch the last meeting, so I am able to vote on this.
I'll get you some.
I was just going to say, make sure you sign the certification
Happy to.
while you're here tonight.
Did this yesterday.
So you brought the big guns this time?
We've already been, so
Mr. Condor, you weren't here the last time, so I'll swear you in.
Sure.
You swear the testimony you are to give here tonight should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, I do.
And please state your name and spell your last for the record.
Anthony Conduris, Condouris.
Anthony has been before this board many times before. Without any objection from board members, we will accept his testimony.
Thank you.
Okay, so Charlie Rooney, 196 Ocean Avenue. Bringing in Anthony Condors tonight to get the specs straight on the structure. It's going to be on the seawall next door to my house. There's an easement that the neighbor has when he bought the property. The easement goes through my property across the street to the seawall, and my neighbor is Elliot Stern, and I approve.
Thank you. I believe you were sworn in the last meeting.
He was.
I was.
Okay.
We can do it again, though.
No, you're okay.
Thank you.
You remain under oath.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I think where we were was, we just need the dimensions.
The dimensions.
Yeah, so I would
That's what I saw.
I'm sorry, if you're ready. Yeah, I just have to apologize right away. There was a printing glitch that we didn't even notice, and the wrong frame got put on the drawing, so I wish I was here, but I wasn't, so I apologize. So the proposed seawall deck is 12 feet wide, and we have plus or minus because, you know, you never can really measure how the seawall top is going to be, but around 12 feet wide, but a maximum length of 20 feet. Now there's no separate lot here right now, as you know, but if you were to take this lot line and carry it into the seawall, it more than meets the setbacks that are required for this seawall deck.
And Tony, I know it came up the last meeting that you've designed some of the other.
I have.
And how does this compare with other ones that you've designed?
Actually, it's identical to some of them. It's maybe a little bigger. I think we've done some that are 18 feet rather than 20, but they're all about that size.
There's a walkthrough on all of them.
There is a walkthrough, yes.
So the drawings that are with the packet imply that this is 16 feet wide. Unless somehow we have the wrong drawings.
Well, it's 16 if you include the walkthrough. Are you looking at
Well,
the?
the entirety of that has to fit on top of the seawall, which is only 12 feet wide.
No. In depth or width?
In width.
Well, from east to west.
East-west.
East-west. The top of the
Oh, okay,
seawall
okay.
is
It's a walkthrough.
He has the wrong plan. Oh, no, it's 12 foot.
12.
It's 12 plus 4 for the. Let me just check that.
Here's the seawall, and the seawall is 11 feet, 11.7 feet by design. So it varies a little, but it's 12 feet. Call it 12.
Okay.
That has to, within that has to include the pass-through.
So, are you saying your pass-through is going to be 4 feet wide, no matter what, correct?
No matter what. So if the okay, right. And again, we adjust them to the size of the. So if that's the case, then the overall width would never be more than 12 feet, including the walkway.
Now, Tony, I think we figured out what it is. Is that drawing on the top right? That shows 12 feet plus the walkway, all the way up top right.
Yeah, up here, yeah.
And then the walkway is shown on the rocks that are on an angle down.
This one here, you mean?
No, if you look at your drawing over the top of the
Yeah,
seawall, you have the top part and then you have the rocks. The pass-through is over the rocks, which you can't.
Which would not be direct. So then that pass-through is going to have to get moved to the inside of the.
Pass-through within the 12 feet.
It will be within the 12 feet. That's correct.
And I think that's what we basically said the last time, was we need a drawing that conforms to the spec, which is roughly speaking 12 by 20.
Right.
And so we,
But it'll so it will include the walk. It will include the pass-through then. It will.
So just so, since I'm going to be the one writing up the resolution, is the deck then going to effectively be 8 by 20 with the 4-foot walkthrough?
If you exclude the walkthrough, the usable part of it, if you will, would be.
But the deck is 12 foot wide because the walkthrough is part of the deck. I wouldn't even exclude it, just say the walkthrough is part of it.
The walkthrough, it will be 4 feet wide and the deck will be whatever the remaining width of the seawall is.
Right.
Because it varies.
Right, no, that's what I'm saying, effectively it's 8 feet.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
Give or take.
the usable area would be.
Usable area.
Yeah, right.
Because it doesn't, just to Dave's point, if I'm reading the plans right, there's railing that will close off the deck.
Yeah, so
Other than the walkthrough.
correct.
So
the railing gets interrupted and
Right, okay.
you can pass through.
And you can't put any seating or anything else in there. It has to be.
Right, that's correct.
And
That's all.
The only issue I have also, if you look at your site plan down to the left corner,
Yes,
it shows the staircase tight up to the bottom of the wall.
I went there.
yes,
But in your other diagram, the larger one shows it far away from the wall.
like about 2 feet.
Yeah, even the other diagram down there, see, the one with the coloring, you're right.
Oh, this,
No, go over.
oh, that one. Right. So I was just saying something about this before, that, we can't really measure the seawall, it's rough on a slope, so when it's built, we'll keep it as tight as possible to the
Well, that's
seawall.
what I'd like to have part of the condition, is
Yeah.
that it will not extend any further than 4 feet away from the outer edge, no more than 4 feet away from the bottom of the wall. So that gives you a 3-foot staircase and a little bit.
And a 1 foot plan. That's fine. Sure. I'll put that on the plan.
Yeah. Mr. Chairman, I got a couple
Dave,
things.
no,
To follow up on Dave's, there is a requirement in our ordinance that says you have to have 5 feet of walkable area on the splash pad. So that, you're correct, Dave, he's gonna have to make this area a little shorter, more narrow, to keep that 5 feet. And you might even have to put some of the 4x4s or 6x6s down onto the seawall instead of onto the pad, just to
Yeah, so we'll
squash it in close.
we'll make sure we have 5 feet clear.
The other thing is that the ordinance doesn't allow seats or chairs that can be blown around. So a lot of people do put some built-in seats on these things. And you don't put them, of course, in the walkthrough, but you can put them on the sides between the east and the west. So that's probably a good idea. And if you decide to do that, you should tell the board now.
Like the built-in seats, you
You
mean?
need built-in seats, because most people do it.
Yeah,
Most
no,
people- And then the last thing is, most people also put the pass-through in the center, because you don't want to have people going to the edge of the seawall and possibly falling off. Go to the center, have good space on both sides, and then you have
Walk through the
pass-through
center.
that's safer, okay?
Good with that?
And the last thing is, that's it. That's all I have.
Yeah, before Dave was saying, what I believe is that they put the bench, and so
Good
they
friend.
have the bench looking over the ocean, they put the bench north, south,
You do that
on
too.
the west
Yeah,
side,
facing east. Yeah.
facing east, and then your walk through is in the middle.
Yeah.
That way you can put it, the bench
Sure.
on the
Yeah,
west
Well,
side.
let's open this to the public now. I think we've heard all
I
the
just have
testimony.
to ask a question though. I mean, do we even know what we're approving at this point? It's something we need to
Yes.
the whole plan. Are we okay?
Well, provided that's that caught all those things, I mean, I think.
yeah, we'll
Mark, I think
resubmit.
I can do the resolution compliance on this thing. You guys pass it. The things are all in the
I mean, it's a
Seabright
freaking
ordinance.
beach step, I mean, there's seawall
Steps,
steps.
they're everywhere.
But I understand the point.
They are
So I
everywhere.
know how they're built.
And we came up with that ordinance many, many years ago.
Correct.
And as long as they go with the ordinance, they're fine. Let's open to the public. Is there anyone in the public that has a question about the testimony or a statement about this? Please. Mr. Rooney.
Up, say my name. Yeah, okay. Charlie Rooney, 196 Ocean Avenue. It seems like maybe you should be telling us what to do. Like, there should be
I think that's what just
a
happened.
standard.
That did just
That's what we
happen.
just
Oh,
said.
Yeah, we just did it.
They basically said you gotta do this, and
And
that.
I think
Right, but I
we're
think
gonna have to go
right
back.
from Jump Street, say,
Yes.
here's the plan. This is the
No, we do have an ordinance.
We don't have an ordinance that has actual dimensions, we figured out. Frank said,
Well,
you think Mary has
We
dimensions.
did.
but-
It does. It says.
We did have an ordinance. I was part of it. I remember
It
it.
says 20 feet, plus she also looks at the setbacks that would be applied if it was a building. So if your lot is 50 feet wide and you get 15 feet,
But we should get really specific in an order.
I think.
I mean, that's not for
I think we are, but you should look at it.
I'm gonna have
The
to.
specification.
It shouldn't be that complicated.
I remember it was pretty clear, and people were not happy about it because we kept it into the wall. It was very
Yes,
close to
there's
the
no
wall.
overhang of the wall. That's the way it's stated. It doesn't state the width of it, it just says you cannot overhang the rock portion of it.
All right, we'll talk later on then. I mean, I don't wanna
There's a
drag
couple
this
of
out.
little things in there that I would agree, that we should look at.
I just opened it to the public. Is there anyone in the public besides Charlie? And were you finished, Mr. Rooney? Anyone else, please? If not, the public portion is now closed. Is there any further discussion? Frank, if you,
I want some clarification on something. I'm a little bit stuck on
that's fine, Dave.
The 5-foot splash pad, I interpret that as focusing on the staircase to the beach, not the staircase from the sidewalk.
There is no splash pad on the beach side.
Well, they probably put it down 2 feet into the sand. 2 feet below the existing staircase. That should be 5 feet.
Yeah, well, that's an extra, you want the splash pad to be passable by a person who's, let's say, running, I used to run on it all the time. People run on the splash pad or walk or whatever.
No, I think that's talking about the other side of the wall. They don't want them to just lay it on the beach.
Right.
They want them to.
Well, on the beach,
But the 5 foot doesn't pertain to the staircase starting at the sidewalk.
On the splash pad.
yes, it does.
But then it brings it too far into the sidewalk.
Might bring it too far into the seawall. Is what you
Now, as it's currently written,
You want 5 extra feet there.
correct, but the splash pad is 12 feet wide, which means you could theoretically go out 7.
No.
No?
No, it's all.
No,
I think it varies.
I think you could, but I think it's a mistake.
Oh, I agree with you. I'm 100% that should be changed to say you can go 4 feet out, period, from the base.
Well, just enough room to make steps.
Correct.
That are legitimate.
That are code compliant steps.
Yes, yeah.
He might be able to do the same steps he has now, the bigger ones. He just has to leave that extra 5 feet there so that there's room for people to pass by.
But not 5 feet.
Minimum
width.
5
5 feet in.
In width, no, width, from east to west, east to west.
5 feet.
So that brings it so far into the sidewalk.
That's what the ordinance says. That's the ordinance.
Frankly, I think we're within that with this,
He's agreed.
this application. Let's think about this
Okay,
application.
that's what, if that's.
We're not changing ordinances right now. We're doing an application.
And the
And I
applicant.
think they've met that goal.
So you're gonna go with 4 feet then?
Let me just clarify, a 4 foot wide stair with a one foot of buffer, is that what you're talking about?
Not necessarily, no, you definitely have to have 5 feet of width left over on the side of the splash. Right, but now the board seems to feel that you should have the stairs 4 feet, no matter what it is.
When you say 4 feet, the width of the stairs?
The width of the stairs.
Oh, yeah,
Well,
that's
Yeah.
building.
Okay.
There'll be 4 foot.
But that'll give them plenty of room.
So you want to condemn more room for more steps?
No,
No, I think that's silly.
No. We're all on the same page on this. We just because this is not correct, in my opinion, and I think we'll all agree to that.
You can go back to that.
But they've agreed, it's gonna be a 4 foot wide staircase as close to the seawall as possible. That's all we care about.
That's what we care about.
That's,
Now, there's
that
a
is
3
what we care about
foot
now.
stairwell with 1 foot off the wall, maximum.
3 foot, well, I wouldn't want to try to do a 3 foot wide stair, I think.
4 foot wide
Because
stair.
with the railing in there.
That's close to
It's
the
close to the
wall.
wall, it's tough. It doesn't have to be put off.
Yeah.
And if
Because
it's
it's uneven and you
12 feet, it's still
you
have
have
that.
to have a little bit of discretion.
Right.
I want to say one more thing.
Please don't. Please don't.
So,
One more thing is that the building department may not allow him to put, he has a pylon shown, so it'll be 2 pylons. They may not allow that. They may just want it to rest the stairs on the sand.
Oh, yeah, that was all.
On the beach side.
On the beach side, yeah. Because if you dig in 2 feet and then put 2 steps down below, it'll be okay. Until
It'll be
the time
fine.
comes in.
That's what it says on there.
Yes.
Right, so Dave, you can figure it out.
Dave, thank you.
I know,
You're
I've watched
absolutely
the
right.
seawall stairs for 30 years. I know what happens when the tide comes in and washes
All good. I just want to make sure Tony
And I
and you
know what
are
it's
going to
like
work
right
together
now.
and figure this out.
Be happy to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, if there's no one from the public, I will make a motion to
Yeah, I
approve
just
this
have one.
out.
I think we finished the public portion.
Just one, guys, you're gonna close the public.
Steve, I did.
I just have one quick question. We've had a problem, we've had signed plans, kind of then being questioned later, not necessarily conform to what is actually going to get built is different than what's on this plan. Should you have a revised plan?
Well,
It doesn't affect our vote tonight, but
Yes.
should a revised plan be
Yeah, as
submitted?
part of resolution compliance, you'll have to do a revised plan, that's,
To make everybody happy, do you want it to be that we approve you to write a positive resolution and he has to have plans here by the next meeting and then we can adopt so they can see the
So when
plans?
those plans are signed, they're the ones.
So we can see the plans before we vote on the resolution and they don't have to come back.
Yeah, no, I'm on.
I don't think you need to, it's up to you.
I don't know, it just sounds like.
I agree with Dave.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes another month.
It doesn't.
They've been building these for years without any approvals. These people were kind enough to come before the board and get their approval, and it's very clear what they're gonna do. We can do it in the resolution. Is that not right?
I'll work with Ben on the resolution and we'll put everything you say in there.
In that case, I second Mark's motion.
Was there a motion? I didn't.
I made the motion, Mark made the motion. Mark
Okay,
seconded.
thank you. This is a very simple, common thing in Seabright. We're making it a little more difficult than it needed to be. You need to do what's right. Don't get me wrong, but it is what it is.
Mr. Cashmore?
Yes.
Chairman Cunningham?
Yes.
Ms. Julio? Yes. Vice Chairman DeSeo? Mr. Lawrence?
Yes.
Councilman Lexstein?
Yes.
Mr. Salina?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And let everybody here know, we take
Happy
our job
beaching.
very, very, very
Go over the
seriously.
wall happily.
Just send me my price.
I'll get that. I will send it. I did watch it. I watched the what was it? The YouTube. I watched the YouTube the other way. And I laughed at that. Okay, here we go. On to Denholz Applications LLC Seabright.
Mr. Chairman.
Welcome.
Hello, Mr. Chairman.
Let us show that Mr. Salina is stepping down. He is within a 200-foot area.
Direct conflict.
Direct conflict, okay. Pardon me. Welcome.
Hello, John Junko, Denham, Helen, and Cecil Street on behalf of this applicant. The applicant is Denham. This is an application that had been before the board and the site plan and subdivisions were approved. This application is not seeking any amendment whatsoever to the approved plan, but to...
Pardon me. Excuse me, we're in a meeting right now. Please.
This application is not requesting any amendments to the site plan or the subdivision at all. What we're simply asking for is that there are 3-bedroom units be permitted to be 4. They were simply shown that way. On this project, there are 4 single-family homes, 15 condominiums, and 25 townhouses. With regard to the 4 single-family homes, they were shown on the original plan as 3 bedrooms. No changes to those except to modify the floor plan to permit 4 bedrooms. Likewise, with the 25 townhouses, the exact same situation. No changes to the exterior, just modifying the floor plan to permit 4 bedrooms. Now, under your ordinance, the ordinance requires 2 parking spaces per unit, regardless of the number of bedrooms. We met that standard, we meet that standard. on the plan, and are proposing no changes to that.
So, Mr. Junko, are you suggesting to us you could have 20 bedrooms in this apartment or in these houses and you would only need 2 parking spaces?
Yes, your ordinance is specific.
That's pretty extreme. I don't buy it.
I didn't write the ordinance.
And I don't think the ordinance says that, so
Mr.
I'm not buying
Junko,
it.
I would say that, this is part of a redevelopment plan. This redevelopment
There we
plan
go.
was written with a specific concept plan in mind. That concept plan is included in the redevelopment plan. And at the time that concept plan that, your approved project follows pretty closely, was agreed upon and put into the redevelopment plan, the single-family homes and the townhomes were all 3 bedrooms. And so the parking, while it's not, specifically stated in the redevelopment plan, the parking requirement is for 3-bedroom homes and townhomes.
That's my understanding. I mean,
Let me jump in here.
Go ahead. Yeah, I have to say.
I'm a little perplexed that the approval was with a governing body approval of a redevelopment plan. And this board, you're asking, our only part in this was a site plan approval.
Oh, there's subdivision too. It was all one application.
Which was included in the site plan. Correct. And I'm just a little nervous about going against our governing body. I mean, we know what the governing body approved, and it wasn't 4 bedrooms.
Can I say something?
Please.
I pretty much respectively disagree. I went through the redevelopment agreement today. I went through the Calhoun planning report that set up the redevelopment. I was here as part of it. The thing is, there really is no mention of bedrooms.
with all due respect, Dave.
It doesn't say you have 3 or 4.
With all due respect.
Maybe that's what everybody thought.
As the sole member of there are 2 members of the governing body in this room right now who voted for this redevelopment plan. I will tell you, as a member of the governing body who voted for this plan,
Okay.
it did not intend for there to be limitless amounts of bedrooms in these units.
Fully understand.
And let's go with the planner, not an engineer.
I'm just telling you, I read it today,
I think-
and there was nothing in there.
I understand. With all due respect, you are an engineer.
Thank you.
And I will deal with them.
And a good one at that.
And a good one, but what you're testifying to is not planning, you're testifying to
Right.
planning testimony.
I will say perhaps it was an oversight because, the council and in drafting the redevelopment plan, perhaps didn't think that,
They never imagined.
you would be coming back asking for more bedrooms than were previously agreed upon.
Correct.
But I think the redevelopment plan was clearly written with everyone's understanding that the single-family homes and townhomes would be 3 bedrooms.
But of course, I think one thing that everybody can
We need to
agree.
look at the testimony of the
Well,
presentation.
so if you look at the resolution from this board, from the preliminary major subdivision and preliminary final site plan, it says that it talks about in the resolution how the single-family homes have 3 bedrooms and the townhomes are similarly laid out to the single-family homes.
But this application also includes a set of plans that indicate it's 3 bedrooms, isn't that
Correct.
part?
That's what she's saying.
Right. That's part of the application,
Right,
Right,
that
not just
was,
what we concluded at the end.
right.
Well, there's no mention in that redevelopment plan of incremental parking for 3 bedrooms as opposed to 2 or 4.
Apparently on the plans. it
No,
was.
I mean, come on, you can't argue that you could come in here and ask for 20 bedrooms and we would be stuck with 2 parking spaces per unit. I mean, that defies logic, which is what you're now arguing. Clearly, the council did not meet that. And if you feel so strongly that that's what the council meant when it adopted the redevelopment plan, then go back to the council and tell the council that that the planning board doesn't like it, and that the council should amend the
You
redevelopment
can't bring
plan.
that to this board.
You can go ahead and try. I'm telling you it's not going to get anywhere, but I'm one member of the governing body, but
Well, I understand.
it's not going to happen.
We're looking at an existing ordinance.
Uh-huh.
It says 2 spaces per unit. Our client meets that.
Okay, well,
But everybody would agree, including the applicant, that you don't meet the residential site improvement standards and you need relief from that.
We would
correct?
apply for the typical waiver.
Well, you need to get it from this board.
Well, assuming the board
Doesn't sound good right now.
Right, but I'm saying, the increase from 3 bedrooms to 4 increases the amount of the waiver you would need, and ultimately the board would have the discretion to approve or not approve.
If it had the ordinance that way, yes, but we're not.
So why are you here then? If you don't feel that you need any approvals, why are you here? Because you agree that you need an approval.
Because there was a site plan submitted that showed 3 bedrooms.
Right.
And our clients did not intend to try and sneak something in that you could later have the comments that you're having now. That's why we came here, but when you look at the ordinances and the way this agreement is written and the application, I don't see that the immediate, I don't understand there's an immediate risk of additional parking required in the household.
All right, so let's open our case. Go ahead.
And I would like to call Steve Litster.
Hello, Steve.
Hi, how are
If
you?
you could please raise your right hand to be sworn. Do you swear the testimony you are to give here tonight should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Just state your name, spell your last for the record, please.
Stephen Lidster, Lidster.
Mr. Litster is a principal of Denholtz Acquisitions. Would you describe your role in Denholtz?
Sure. So I'm the Director of Development for Denholtz. I oversee all of our development and construction projects. I've been involved with this project for probably about 3 years or so.
And you reviewed our application and all the documents?
I did.
And you just heard this?
You are just a principal at Denholtz?
Yes, I oversee all of our development.
Without objection from board?
He's not being cited as an expert in.
No, but I'm just...
Factual testimony.
Yeah, factual.
And
Thank you.
Sure. Did you examine the plans, and how did you come to the issue, as you heard the concern about the additional bedrooms and parking?
So this primarily is coming from our partner, Toll Brothers, as you're probably aware, is taking over the single-family and townhome portion of this project. They are requiring us to have 4 bedrooms as opposed to 3 bedrooms. They find that it's, for a market like this, it makes more sense for them. So that's really what the primary driver of this change is. They weren't involved at the time of our initial approval, so this is why it's come up after the fact.
So it's purely a financial thing for Toll Brothers?
It's quite honestly a make
Toll Brothers and Denholtz.
a make or break part of the deal for Toll. It's but for this approval of 4 bedrooms, they won't be moving.
But it's purely financial, for financial purposes. There's no reason, because they don't want to finance this if they don't have 4 bedrooms. There's no other reason.
Yeah, I mean, I think it provides more flexibility, right? Talking to them, if you've got, it's not unreasonable for a single-family home to have 4 bedrooms.
Right.
I think
because no one would buy a 3-bedroom home on the river looking out over with tall buildings looking out.
I think it's not crazy.
That was our
I guess.
Yeah.
20.
I thought it was a good boy. But let me ask you a question. And Toll Brothers has no plans of supplying any more parking?
No, the parking will be in accordance with what's on the approved site plan.
Would you agree, though, that perhaps more people with cars could live in a 4-bedroom unit than a 3-bedroom unit?
I think the thinking is this is going to be primarily, not full-time residences. These will be people coming down for the summer. Maybe they've got kids and they don't have to share a room.
Which is even more cars than if we were full-time residents, probably. Because they'll have their friends coming down, they might rent it out for a week or so.
I have a 4-bedroom house, and when I have company on the weekend, it's 5 cars up front. I mean, it's the truth, and parking is the biggest horror we have in this town. I fortunately got a good enough property to accommodate them, but downtown is so crowded already and overwhelmed with parking. I mean, I don't know any single family that doesn't have 2 cars.
Right. We do provide two spots for
Now
everyone.
you add 3 more bedrooms. I'm talking about the primary husband and wife, if that's the situation, or male, female, maybe, or whatever it is. 2 people, the main residence of the house would be 2 people, they usually have 2 cars. 90% of people I know is that. So now you add 3 more bedrooms, you're gonna have a couple more cars.
No, they're asking to add one more bedroom.
I'm talking about a primary bedroom would accommodate a.
I agree with you, but they're asking for one more bedroom, and they already have 3.
Well, I understand that.
I know you do.
I'm just saying the situation.
Just keeping things clear on the record. Which should have probably 1 to 2 more parking spaces on the record.
The single-family homes don't have, there's really only the potential to have 2 cars parked in them. Is that correct, or is that maybe a question for the architect?
We look at this. We have room in front of those for driveway parking.
We better bring him in.
We can come back to it.
Yeah, we'll come back to the architect.
But that's the architect for the
He's coming.
maybe.
Nobody from Toll Brothers here?
No.
That's too bad.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to ask for an adjournment.
Okay.
So
You want to be carried, or you want
I'd like to be carried.
just adjourn this meeting?
When would our next available be?
I think at this point it would be the second meeting in April, which is
That's not bad.
the 23rd, I think it is.
See how accommodating we are.
Would we be able to get a full site plan for the project?
We have it.
It's
It's the same one, hasn't changed, same one yet.
No
The
changes.
site plan doesn't change.
Yeah, all the footprints are the same.
No, I understand that, I just wanted to look at that for,
Well, if you didn't keep your copy, you get
So April 23rd would be the next available. Is that enough time for you guys to do whatever you need to do?
Yes.
What do we do?
Mr. Chairman?
Now we're going to bring in some Toll Boys. Get some Toll Brothers out here.
Mr. Chairman,
This will be,
I got a
they will not be involved after this.
Pardon me, one second.
One question.
Engineer.
Is it worth them doing some kind of parking analysis to find out if they can provide additional parking?
No, the reality is,
Situation?
no, the reality is this project, which we designed to hand to these guys to be done with no variances, was not intended to have 4 bedrooms. Or more than 3. That's how it was designed, that's why you have the 2 parking spots. And to come back to us at this point where we basically designed the ordinance for you, the town, and everyone put it forward, to now come and ask us for more, and I understand it's not Denholtz, it's Toll Brothers, who didn't even bother to be here tonight. It's kind of insulting. So.
There's something there.
No,
We would like them to come and explain to them how our town is going to be better by them adding more bedrooms.
Exactly.
I think one important point of clarification is there's no bedroom count mentioned in the redevelopment plan.
Understood
That was clear. It
yeah.
didn't say 3.
I wasn't involved in
Didn't say
any.
4.
No
Right, and I
restrictions.
think,
I think it's 4 bedrooms in a 2,800 single family, 2,800 square foot single family home is pretty reasonable.
If you have the parking.
right, but I think
If you have the park.
as we discussed, the redevelopment plan was written based on a concept plan and agreed upon development that included only 3-bedroom homes and townhomes.
And 2 parkings. I mean, if council knew that you wanted to have 4 bedrooms from the day one, you would have never gotten away with only having 2 bedrooms. I mean, excuse me, 2 parking spaces per unit. So it was all done in conjunction with each other, as Christine's saying. There's a logic to it. We certainly did not design an ordinance that would enable you, as Mr. Junko said, to come in, as when I asked him, to have 20 bedrooms and still only have 2 parking spaces. That's asinine.
But that's consistent with RSIS and all the other standards. And you know that.
Hey, I don't know that because I don't believe what you just said is true. That's why you need to come in here and have an RSIS waiver or variance. So it's not consistent.
Not from 20. 4 bedrooms would be at most for a single-family home, 2.5 spaces.
Yeah, so Mr. Junko, as you said, you believe you could come in here and get 20 and we wouldn't need any further parking. That's when I asked you at the beginning of this. You said, yeah, of course. That's what the ordinance says. That was your position, which is ridiculous.
Well, now you're talking about, now you asked me about RSIS, which is not the ordinance.
Well, they've asked to be carried.
April 23rd.
You want to go through those?
Bring in the Toll Brother boys. Let's see how they do.
This timing-wise, this will be the end of the Toll Brothers deal, quite honestly.
They knew when they took it over, but that's what we had.
I'm not going to lose any sleep on this.
So
Yeah, I'm not even.
they knew that.
Well, they asked for one. Everybody wants to get what they can get, but
Well, I think they knew that.
they wouldn't have been involved with you to begin with if they didn't want to be in Seabright.
Well, I think the issue of the parking spaces is not quite as clear as you're saying, and I think it is clear that the ordinance speaks for itself. However, you raise a question about the increased parking and the demand for 20 additional bedrooms when we're putting them in single-family homes and townhouses, which aren't necessarily multifamily. It seemed, I never even thought that it would be other than a family coming with 1 or 2 children or whatever. But that's not, I don't know. You can't predict that.
If I could interject, my understanding of what Mark is saying and what you're saying, or both you were saying, because I believe I heard you bring up the ordinance as well, what the part that I understand what Mark is saying, and the part that I feel that you fellas are missing, and the planner said it also, is that the ordinance was custom tailored for you based on your submission of 3-bedroom residences. So the fact that
That's a redevelopment.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think
the fact that they didn't write it in a way that precluded you from asking for more bedrooms was simply because they didn't think that you were going to ever ask for them, because you presented the proposal with 3 bedrooms and the ordinance was tailored to your plans that you presented.
100%.
So it was just never right. It was just never conceived in anyone's mind that they had to word the ordinance in a way that
They're mentioned in the
redevelopment for more.
No, to Steve's point, there's no mention in the ordinance about bedrooms. But it's logical, based upon the fact there's only 2 parking space requirement per unit, that that's what we understood they were going to come into. Right. Like we would never.
That match our ordinance.
Right. We would never dream that someone would come in and start asking for more bedrooms on top of that.
And so hanging your hat on that, it wasn't written, isn't valid because it was never presented and they just did not think to write in language of something that someone could possibly do. I'm sure you could come up with a helicopter pad on top of something.
Exactly. It doesn't prohibit a helicopter.
They didn't put in there no helicopter pads on rooftops.
Don't give them money.
You follow what I'm saying?
Let's move along. We agreed. Everybody agreed. Not necessarily applicants, but.
So, Mr. Chairman, before we adjourn, though, there are a lot of people here who may want to talk, and maybe.
Oh no, I'm going to open it to the public.
Okay.
Well, if you're going to open it to the public, let us put a whole case on, because I don't think that.
Might as well hear what we're going to hear.
Well,
with
it seems to me that this is an issue of what the ordinance says, what the redevelopment plan says.
That's your job.
There's absolutely nothing about parking. It doesn't limit the bedrooms. And now my client is being basically.
It's definitely it's a shock. Let me just tell you, Mr. Junko, it's a shock to us that you're asking for. That is a shock to us when we thought we had a relatively secure redevelopment done. So let's open to the public and see what the public has to say. And that'll give you a little more information to come back with when you come back on the, what was the date?
April 23rd.
April 23rd, you good with that?
Yes.
Okay, okay, with you, sir?
Yeah.
Why don't we open to the public and move on? Sir,
Mr. Chairman, we're ready.
please stand up and state your name.
You gotta come up and be sworn.
You gotta be sworn.
Yes, sir.
Please raise your right hand to be sworn. Do you swear the testimony you already give here tonight shall be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
And please state your name, spell your last for the record.
My name is Eric Bischoff, last name Bischoff.
Thank you.
You live where?
12 South Street.
You were just there.
I was. I would say we're very excited for this project. I think this project is going to be a great benefit to this community. I'd like to see this project move forward. You know, in our home, you overlook every warehouses, garages, and you know, a lot of things that this project will improve upon. But I must agree with this board that parking is a critical consideration for this project. And although I wasn't here when this was approved, I would understand that the intent was to build the houses according to the plans that they laid out. I'm hopeful that this project can move forward. I think it would be a great benefit to see, right, maybe, perhaps, some reasonable compromise could be reached. The all 20 homes with variance of 4 bedrooms is clearly going to increase parking problems that already exist. So I'm hopeful that this board and perhaps this provider could come to some reasonable agreement that would not adversely impact the community, but allow the project to go forward.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else in public? Looks like Mr. Rooney in the back.
Quick, I'll make it quick.
Please raise your right hand to be sworn.
186.
Swear in.
You swear the testimony you already give here tonight shall be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
I do.
And please state your name, spell your last for the record.
Charles Rooney, Rooney.
Ocean Avenue, address.
196 Ocean Avenue. Thank you, Grace. Okay, so I speak as a former councilman. Mark and I served on the council together after Superstorm Sandy. A lot has gone on in this town since then, a lot of great things. This was a big project for the council to wrap their arms around. The planner and council, I can't remember Councilman Lexington, are saying it properly, it's a balancing act. We have people that have lived in Seabright for many years in town. It's hard to explain what really goes on in this town in the middle of July and August. There's cars everywhere. There's people trying to park, trying to go to the beach. One of the things we really wanted to make sure we achieved was that this project was not going to impact our residents that live here year-round. And I don't see how 4 bedrooms benefits even the people that are going to buy the home, because it's going to make their situation a little bit more difficult. And the people that have lived here for many years. Chris Doxey sat with Tripp Brooks. You know, we deal along. I mean, Rob's here. You know, we put a lot of thought into this, and I think that we got it right. And we're all looking forward to the Riverwalk, the new bulkhead, a lot of great things that are coming. But I think we nailed it the way it is. Thank you.
So let me ask you a question. Mr. Rooney.
Yes.
You're saying you like it the way it's approved already, and you're opposed to what they're asking for, or
Yeah, I feel like that is not at all.
Okay, I just want to make it clear for the
opposed
record.
to it, yes. 100%.
Anyone else in the public? Please state your name for the record.
Sure. Chris
Chris, you gotta come up so we get anyone before.
Yeah, so we can hear you.
And please raise your right hand to be sworn. Do you swear the testimony you already give here tonight shall be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
And please state your name, spell your last for the record.
Chris Doxey, CHRISDOXEY, 9 Church Street, Seabright.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm totally opposed to this. I was almost opposed to the last one, but after a while, I thought about it and looked at it, and I thought it was a good thing. To have another bedroom added is just going to be horrendous for us. I know you have your own parking in the complex, I know you have it in the driveway, and I know you have had an extra 7 or 8 parking spaces aside for visitors. What's going to happen to those visitors parking spots? They'll probably be taken up with the fourth bedroom people. I am definitely opposed to this. It's going to adversely affect our parking on the street, which is horrendous now. And I'm just hoping that the board will not approve this. Thank you.
Thank you. They've asked to be carried, I don't know if you
Yes,
could
I
hear all that. Okay. Anyone else in the public? Yes, sir, please, state your name for the record.
Robert Long. If you could please raise your right hand to be sworn. You swear the testimony you already given here tonight shall be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Yes. So Robert Long, 20 New Street. I think we've heard that the stated reason for the variance request is for economic grounds, which isn't necessarily their priority for...
Excuse me, we're not requesting a variance. There's no variance associated with this application.
You're requesting an additional bedroom in each unit.
Just an additional bedroom.
Semantics, yeah, all right, whatever the proper language is. Certainly if it affects the viability of the project, that's a reasonable concern of the governing body, but generally the profit of a developer is not, at least in my estimation. In any event, this is the most densely populated part of town. So the addition of, if we look at just percentages, they're increasing the capacity, the bedroom capacity by 33%. Our expectation is that there will be more people, more cars in an area that's already, as I said, densely populated. Parking is regularly an issue. If you don't live downtown, you do have resident parking passes, but still, particularly in the summer, which if this is when they think these properties will be mostly occupied, everything is very difficult for the residents. So I think quality of life for the residents should be a valid concern. And for that reason, as a resident and speaking with many of my neighbors, we would oppose the change.
Thank you, sir.
I'll go for it. My name is Garrett Middleton, 22 Surf Street.
All right, please raise your right hand to be sworn. Do you swear the testimony you already give here tonight shall be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do. As this gentleman stated before, on his own behalf, I also spoke out in support of the project that was presented and approved and subject to the redevelopment agreement. So, because I think it would help improve our neighborhood. Perhaps I was romanced a little bit by the infrastructure improvements, as much of us were. And entitlements are always the first things to get sort of eat out of projects. I've worked as a construction contractor for 30 years for one of the largest builders in the world. And I know I've worked with many developers over time, and it was always our job to try and figure out how to get rid of stuff to make it affordable. So I understand the economic side of this, but I just wanted to say that we're now, according to my records, about a year into the redevelopment agreement. I think it was signed in early March or February of last year. It has a 7-year term on it. And so my concern is that, as these gentlemen in our town is delayed in this process, we run out of runway and time can kill a project. So let's all keep that in mind when we have these conversations. My two things I want to talk about today were, I went through the meeting minutes that were approved before the resolution. There are a couple things that I brought up personally about the infrastructure impacts to the streets and to the drainage systems. And I know this is not about site planning approval, but I just want to remind the board that I think it has an obligation to sort of keep track of these things. One of the comments that was made and was put into the resolution was the reworking of some street right-of-ways, making one of the proposed two-way streets into a one-way street. It says in here that the town engineer, the borough, I guess the board engineer would work with the developer to take a look at that. I saw the CAFR drawings that were submitted back, July? I don't know when it was. And they are the same, they haven't changed. So I would just ask that the board kind of retroactively pay attention to these things. And also I noted for Dave and Ms. Beam that the current drawings that were put up for March 12th still show those pergolas on top of the houses. I don't know if anyone else picked that up, but I think you argued pretty vehemently against that, Ms. Beam. You're different. It was different. Sorry about that.
Thank you.
I saw
Okay, thank you. Did any of that change? The pergolas might be...
They were proposed the negative at the meeting. They agreed to remove them. It was a drafting error not removing them for this.
I may
Sounds
be
like
back
they're
on the
gone.
23rd, Mr. Chairman, so.
You don't see it on the plan, but it sounds like
They're not proposing.
So
Yeah.
if it wasn't picked up in those two professionals' letters, I just wanted to call that to attention, so.
Thank you.
So it's the street is very important to us because that circulation in and around there is impossible. In fact, I'd argue as a professional engineer, sorry, Mark, I am an engineer, I have to come out in defense of David.
I love David, just not when he's doing protest.
I would argue that intersection design does not meet engineering standards, but that's.
Thank you, sir.
What's your position on the application? Are you in favor of it or?
I'm in favor of, sorry, on this application, I'm not gonna mention that now because this is a public comment, so I'll come out on the 23rd when they have better testimony.
Who's worried about the bird? No. He was. I've seen that for days. Anyone else in the public? I'm gonna give this plenty of time. If no one else in the public cares to be heard, this meeting, this application, pardon me, is going to be carried to the 23rd, did I say? The 23rd of April, with no further notice. This meeting will be carried to the 23rd of April with no further notice. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. For your patience and information. Okay, moving along in our agenda. Do I need to carry this meeting, or was it already carried? Okay, application for Frank Camuso and Vince, I'm gonna put my glasses on, Giratino. I'm gonna help you out. You've always said 14 Southway will be carried with no further notice to Candace? What is it? Oh, April 9th, up top, I'm sorry. You change stuff, just put. So anyone here for Frank Camuso, Vince Sciartino will not be heard this evening, will be carried to April 9th with no additional notice. Okay, on to our ordinance reviews. Anybody have any big discussions on the ordinance amending the code for Borough of Seabright? Is this the tree one or the salt storage?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman.
Who has an issue with salt storage?
Mr. Chairman, I would suggest, unless someone has an objection, that you just take these two together.
Okay, I'm happy to. The tree one actually interested me. Tree preservation and replacement regulations. That's on Ocean Avenue, correct?
So these are two ordinances which apparently are being required by the DEP, and that's why we have them. These aren't things that we dreamed up. These came from the DEP. They're like,
oh, thank God.
Yeah.
I was worried about the council.
Yeah. No, we were not sitting around saying, hey, let's deal with salt storage. So these are, so these are DEP.
Make a motion.
I will move that these two ordinances be referred back to council as being consistent with the master plan.
I will second it. I read it.
My only comment on this list of trees, those aren't really native to living and surviving.
It's Seabright.
Single family.
There's no doubt about it.
Salt tower, really.
They're not.
And anytime an issue comes up, I would always refer it to our engineer.
Well, maybe not tonight.
For picking trees, I would refer to the Rutgers Guide for planting along the shoreline, which gives you all the ones which will survive in this area, which is not very many, as we well know.
But I don't think we're changing the ordinance right now, so we either agree with the ordinances or we don't. And I agree with you 100%. Frank.
Can't you just add a suggestion in the letter back that Candace does saying
You can.
salt tolerant trees shall also be allowed?
In Seabright.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think that's against what DEP would think.
I have no problem.
Absolutely.
I have no problem amending my motion.
Talk about crab apples.
Yeah, and others.
I'll amend my motion to include a recommendation from the planning board that the tree ordinance be revised to indicate salt-resistant trees.
And crab apples.
And crab apples. Whatever you want. Is that part of it, really, crab apples?
Yeah.
Is that a joke?
I got 50-year-old crab apple trees.
I'm being allowed.
Attaboy.
I amended my.
Sorry, Candace. Thank you. Do we need a vote on that?
Yes, we have a motion in a second.
Do we need a roll call or all in favor?
Roll call.
Okay. Mr. Cashmore?
Yes.
Chairman Cunningham?
Yes.
Mr. Julio?
Yes.
Vice Chairman DeSeo?
Yes.
Mr. Lawrence?
Yes.
Mr. Lexky?
Yes.
Mr. Zelina?
Not here.
Moving on to public comments. Is there anyone in the public that would like to be heard this evening?
Thank you.
If not, the public portion is now closed. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor?